Well, hello, good evening to you. Welcome to Business Focus on TV3. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Tonight on Business Focus, we'll give you details as the continent of Africa is grappling with the issue of an imminent food shortage. We'll be finding out the interventions that the likes of the Africa Development Bank intends to make as well as we go on the show this evening. Also, I was in the market today and to assess the impact of the situation with the food shortage directly impacting on us as a country and matters arising. Remember already, the poultry farmers have responded with an increase in the prices of a crate of egg. I'll tell you what, we're on the ground. We'll tell you what the situation is. Stay with us this evening. Also, reactions coming in as there's a possible increase in the price of petroleum products at the pumps in the first pricing window of the month of June. That's what analysts are predicting. And we'll go to our table because the residents there have resorted to other means of transportation, specifically bicycle. The cost of bicycles have gone up, the sales have shot up because people are just avoiding paying the increase in transport fares. Stay with us. We'll get into these and more tonight here on Business Focus. But before that, let's do a quick recall of some of the stories that made headlines over the last 7 days. My name is Alfred Okanse. Welcome to Business Focus.
Oil prices climbed on Monday, hitting their highest in more than 2 months as traders waited to see if the European Union would reach an agreement on banning Russian oil imports to sanction Moscow for its invasion of Ukraine. Ecobank Transnational Incorporation, ETI, has returned to the path of growth by posting an increased profit of $295 million in 2021, up from the $201 million recorded in 2020, representing a 47% increase. The bank increased its profits before tax to $478 million, increasing by $140 million, driven mainly by gross trade loans across the business. The Managing Director of Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, CBG, Mr. Daniel Wilson Addo, has announced that CBG is expanding its small and medium-sized enterprises capabilities by partnering with the New Development Bank Ghana to deliver technical and financial support to the sector. Mr. Addo indicated that CBG has over the years delivered extensive support to SMEs and is keen on expanding its capabilities in the sector to tap into the opportunities that exist and to ensure an improved contribution from the SME sector to the economy of the country.
We have these and more on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Stay with us here on Business Focus. We will be back shortly after this quick break. We're getting to the focus of the conversation this evening. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Business Focus here on TV3. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Now, the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana has been responding to what's happening on the market, specifically with respect to the increase in the prices of the feed, maize, wheat, soybean. Let me give you what they released. With the new prices of the crates of egg as a result of this situation. Take a look. This has been on the situation for quite a while on the market. Yeah, that's what you have there. And the large 30 cedis will be joined on Zoom shortly by the president of the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana. The large now selling at 30, in some cases 35 cedis. The medium 28 cedis, small 27 cedis, and then you have spent layers about 35 cedis. That's the situation. In fact, that is the reality that you meet if you go to the market or if you have bought just a crate of egg in the last 1 month. That's what they're selling for now. Now, beyond these figures, okay, what you're seeing there, I went to the Malamata market and then also the Agbogloshi area where you have people who sell this also at the wholesale price for the people who sell eggs in our communities to go and buy from them. Now, at the Malamata market, what you just saw is a clear reflection of the situation on the market. The poultry farmers fear that the industry is on the verge of collapse because of the increasing cost of feed. This is quite prevalent because the soybean, the wheat, which we rely on Russia, Ukraine, is also not coming in. You'll hear the AFDB talk about it. But this is what happened on the Malamata market when I visited the place earlier today. All the money to buy the car that you want, obviously. You will. We are in the market to find out how much selling for and the retail price as well, and why you are buying the one egg at the rice seller's place or the noodle seller that has gone up as well. And I have Amma here. She sells eggs at the Malamata market. Amma, thank you so much for speaking with us.
You're welcome. Thank you, too.
So tell me, we'll go back to that interaction with Amma shortly. But I've been joined via Zoom by Victor Opong Ejay. He is the president of the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana. Mr. Ejay, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us this evening. What's the situation now with the cost of feed? Has it improved as we speak, or is it getting worse?
Thank you very much, Alfred. The situation is as it is. The prices have not come down. We are still managing to break even. So it has not changed, but it's not going up now. As we spoke the other time, the maize was 180 cedis and it's still 180. And we are anticipating that maybe it comes down, but it has not changed yet.
And how much is the maize selling now? 50 kg, for instance.
The 50 kg is 180, between 180 and 185, depending on where it's coming from. But most of them are selling at 180 for the 50 kg.
I see. And what about the wheat as well?
Brown, the 25 kg is 53 cedis as of now, the retailing, yeah.
Well, how much is it selling? Hello, can you hear me?
Alfred, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The soybean, how much is it selling for?
Come again?
The soybean as well.
Soybean is, that one has come down a bit. I think it's 280 cedis now. But previously it went to 305 per 50 kg. But now it's about 280, 290. So that's why it has been reduced a bit. But it's not having any impact on the feed cost.
I see. Now, I'm going to show our viewers, just for a clear understanding of what's happening. There's a bar graph that shows these increases that we've seen over the period for maize, soybean, and then wheat. These are the three. Mr. J, these are the three that form the feed that you feed the birds with, correct?
Yes, there are other ingredients that we add, but that one is not very much. Maize takes about between 50 to 60%. Soya takes about 15 to 25%. And we have the wheat bran taking about 15 to 20%. We have concentrate, which is just 50 kilos, a bag of concentrate that we add up. Then some small things. But basically, it's all about the maize, soya, and the wheat bran. That's why we don't factor those small ones. but they are all included in the feed preparation.
I see. Would you describe this industry that is on the verge of collapse, or you are actually just holding on to a thread of hope as we speak?
Well, we are hoping, but it looks like we are just hoping against hope. Because if the input prices doesn't come down, I don't think it will. It can revamp the poultry industry. Poultry is all about the feed, and when you talk of the feed, the basic ones, the three basic ones, is what we just talk about. So if these prices continue to be like this, or it goes up again, it means nobody can produce, because we cannot increase our end product to meet the high cost of the feed. Even the egg price, the new prices that we brought up, we are having challenges, but we are managing with it. So if the prices continue to go up, it means all the farmers will fold up. Now, most of the farmers who have
I see. That's unfortunately we lost Mr. Victor Poinje on Zoom. He is the president of in fact, the chairman of the National Association of Poultry Farmers Ghana, joining us on Zoom to paint to us exactly the situation as we are faced with. Look, if you go to the market, in the last 1 month, you would at least testify to what they are talking about, because the lack of feed is impacting on the prices of the most basic protein, that's egg, on the market. And I'm going to show you, the bar graph you just saw on the screen is a reflection of the increases that he was talking about. So take a look at this. Maize. Maize, according to them, you just heard, in 2021 was selling at 65 cedis. Now, between 21 and 2022, it's gone up to 180 Ghana cedis. Let's take a look at wheat. Wheat as well, in 2021 was selling 25 kg. 25 kg wheat was selling 20 Ghana cedis, but now it's gone up to 53 Ghana cedis, between 53 and 55 cedis. For soybean as well, the 50 kg of soybean was selling at 150 cedis in 2021 and has gone up to now about 300 Ghana cedis. And in May, that's as with this particular month, May 2022. Now, that is a reflection of the situation on the ground as we have it. Dr. Charles Nyaba is the president of the Peasant, that's the head of programs, I beg your pardon, of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Now, he knows the situation on the ground as we painted in the bar graph you just saw. He joins us in the studio. Dr. Nyaba, good evening to you. Thank you for your time this evening. Now, these increases that we saw in that bar graph, is that a reflection of the situation on the ground as we have it, or is it actually could be selling more?
Yeah, I think that is the situation on the ground, depending on the region you are buying from. If you are buying from a place like Tumu, the prices may be a little bit lower. The Chiman area, it may be around the same range. If you come to Accra, Takoradi, Cape Coast, it may be a little bit higher than that. But let me indicate that I sympathize with the poultry farmers. I've been a poultry farmer before. I've been working with them. But we need to also understand why the prices are increasing so. Because when you talk to farmers, because last month I was on the field, I tried to visit all the maize growing areas, the soya growing areas, and you realize that farmers are apprehensive. They don't know whether this year they have to reduce their farm sizes, they have to maybe move into new crops, or they have to still maintain, because the cost of production of this commodity has more than quadrupled. So the only way they can also sell to remain in business is to also shift the cost to the cost of these products. So I sympathize with them, and I think we all need to come up with strategies to reduce cost of production, so that at the end of the day, consumers and then industry players will also remain in business.
Let's go to the market now. That earlier interaction I had with Amma, who sells crates of egg at the Malam Atta market. That's the experience that you and I have on the market as a result of what we just heard from the poultry farmers, the lack of feed and the increasing cost of the feed, maize, soybean, wheat, that they're having to grapple with, which is leading to a possible collapse of that industry. We'll get back to Mr. J shortly, but this is what happened on the market. Has all the money to buy the car that you want to, obviously. We are in the market to find out how much selling for and the retail price as well, and why you are buying the one egg at the rice seller's place or the noodle seller that has gone up as well. And I have Amma here. She sells eggs at the Malam Atta market. Amma, thank you so much for speaking with us.
You're welcome. Thank you, too.
So tell me, let's say in January, how much were you selling the smaller crate, this small eggs crate? How much?
20 cedis.
20 cedis. And when you had to increase it, how much were you selling it for?
25.
25 cedis. That's a 5 cedis increase. That's from January to date. So the medium-sized eggs, how much are you selling it now?
It's now 25 in the crate, so we sell it 27 cedis.
27 cedis. Is it a flat price or you sell it 28, 27 today?
I sell it 27 cedis, but some will choose to sort it out, take the bigger ones out and sell it at a higher price.
Okay, I see. So from 25 cedis to 27 cedis for the medium. Okay, how about the bigger ones? Where are they?
These are the bigger ones.
How much are you selling the crate?
30 cedis.
30 cedis.
Yes, please.
Now, how much was it in January or 3 months ago?
25 cedis. So 20. That one was 25, then selling at 28. But now it's 28, so selling at 30 cedis.
So that's gone up by 5 cedis between January and now. But it went to 28 cedis and then now
30 cedis. Yes.
What exactly has accounted for this increase? I mean, you sell on the market. What can you tell us?
The poultry farmers they are complaining about the feed. The maize is expensive. That's why they have to increase it. And the women too said the fare has been increased, so they've increased it by 1 cedi a crate.
So those who go and bring it from the farm gate or the poultry farms?
No, those who bring it from the farms are also complaining about the fares.
So they have also added the increment in the transport fares on
the egg.
The egg.
Yes.
Well, so that's what's happening. So the increase in transport fares is affecting everything on the market, including the egg that you're buying. Okay, that's what's happening there. And unfortunately, what we're hearing is that all things being equal, the prices of petroleum products, that's petrol, diesel, may go up in the first pricing window on the month of June, which is just some 2 days away from today. And if that goes up, depending on the margin of increase, the transport unions may respond or otherwise, which will obviously translate into the increase in the prices of other goods and services on the market. And then we expect that inflation will obviously go up eventually. But Mr. J, give me a summary of the description of what's happening with the poultry industry now. What's the state of this industry as we speak, finally?
Let me say that as we speak, we need a divine intervention to revitalize the poultry industry. Now, most farmers have sowed their best, and they are not ready to go in for restocking, which is very dangerous. Because like before you sell the best, you have some day-old around. So the moment you sell this one, there will be a replacement. But as we speak, there is no replacement in most of the farms. They don't even intend to go in for the day-old case. It means that the poultry is gradually collapsing. And the trend is so challenging that if there is no intervention, there will be a time that we will not get even a single poultry farmer in the country, which will also be very dangerous and serious. We all know how poultry is impacting the economy. And
sorry. Fortunately, we lost him. But I think he's made a very clear point there. That's Victor Ponje. He is the national chair of the Association of Poultry Farmers, Ghana, talking to us there. I have Dr. Charles Nyaba with us in studio. He heads the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. And you know the situation, Dr. Nyaba, the reality with the maize, the increasing cost of maize and wheat and soybean, because your members they produce or cultivate these foodstuff. Tell us the reality of the situation on the ground.
Yeah, so the truth of the matter is that if you look at the food price trend over the years, actually this is the lean season for every year. From now until the month of the end of July, prices usually would increase. Now we are seeing drastic increase this time around because of some factors in 2021 which affected production, which also affected the supply, and then coupled with the transport cost, all this attributed to what we are today. If you remember in 2021, the climate was not that favorable. At the beginning of the season, the rains were not stable. Somewhere around August, September, in northern part of the country, there were heavy rainfalls that affected few people who produce the maize. Beyond that, last year we had issues with inputs in general because of freight charges. Cost of tractor services was an issue. Cost of agrochemicals were so expensive. Coupled with that has to do with government failure to pay fertilizer importers last year. So most of them who got contracts to supply fertilizer under the Planting for Food and Jobs didn't do it last year.
So have they been paid now? Are you aware?
I do not think so. I think I've been speaking to them, and most of them are still chasing the Minister of Finance for their payment.
I see.
And there's hope. There's hope. We have engaged the Minister of Food and Agriculture, and he was giving hopes that a progress has been made through engagement with the importers, and some of them are agreeing to release fertilizer onto the market. But that hasn't been done yet.
But as we speak, the fertilizer supplying companies in Ghana have still not been paid by government.
Sure. But I saw a news item, I don't know how that is going to play out, that African Development Bank last 2 days held their conference.
Yes.
And that they were releasing the
1.5 billion. In fact, on that note, not to interrupt you though, let's hear from, I have the president. In fact, I sat through that annual meetings of the African Development Bank that was held here in Accra. Yeah. The group president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, stated that yes, some $1.5 billion has been released to address this particular situation with the looming food shortage. It was quite clear, the looming food shortage on the continent because of Russia, Ukraine, and other related matters. Take a listen to him.
But things are looking up now. Africa's real GDP growth rebounded to 6.9% in 2022. But just when we thought everything was looking up, then Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia's war in Ukraine has led to new challenges on top of already existing challenges for us. It's led to high energy prices. It's led to high fertilizer prices that have actually increased by more than 300%. It has disrupted food imports, especially for African countries. Well, we are all here this morning for this breakfast. I'm not sure how long we all can continue to eat cheap food. And I'm being very frank with you. As a result of this war. Because Africa, 30 million metric tons of food, of wheat and of maize, will no longer be coming from Russia or from Ukraine. That's imported by Africa. That's a lot of food. So Africa right now faces a looming food crisis as a result of this Russian war in Ukraine. Russia is far from here. Ukraine is far from here. The impacts of it are right here.
Well, so that's the president of the Africa Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. Quite clear, didn't mince words on what we're confronted with. Africa is facing a looming food crisis. We cannot continue to eat cheap food. Fertilizer has gone up by 300%, and 30 million metric tons of wheat and maize will no longer be coming in. That's serious, Dr. Nyaba. But you listen to him. Is $1.5 billion enough to solve the problem that the continent is faced with?
No, I do not think so. You see, not only the quantum of the amount, but as we speak, we the farmers, we don't really know how this money is going to be disbursed. In the past, we had similar promises. How is the money going to trickle down to those who produce the food?
So it's the disbursement that
Yes. So we need to know. And you should understand that we just started the season. Farmers have started planting. There are others who are currently looking for fertilizer to apply. There are others who are looking for tractor services, and they are not getting. So if this 1.5 billion is coming, when is it coming? Or we are thinking of putting it in next year? Because we are talking about addressing the issue now. We shouldn't be sitting here talking about Russia, Ukraine, when you have all the capacity to be able to produce enough for our own consumption and for others. Why should we be talking about a war in Ukraine affecting food supply in Ghana?
This is maize and wheat.
Yes.
2 years ago, we had a bumper harvest of maize.
Of course.
In this country.
Because Ghana is historically known for being self-sufficient in maize production. And some of the strategies that we are talking about is man-made. We can talk of the climate change, I agree. But there are many factors that happened in 2021 that we could have averted. But we never listen. So I think that it's an opportunity for most farmers to become agribusiness, for business people to see opportunities in the farming sector and come in. Because for us, we will continue to produce. But whether food prices will come down is another factor. Because you are going to produce with a quadruple cost of production. My crop budget for maize last year was around 1,700. This year is 3,700 Ghana cedis.
3,700?
3,700 Ghana cedis.
That's
so
for what?
For maize, 1 acre of maize farm.
Of maize farm?
Yes, it's going for 3,700 Ghana cedis.
Last year you were selling for how much?
1 acre crop budget, if you talk of crop budget, it's cost of producing an acre. Cost of land preparation.
And last year it cost you how much?
1,700 Ghana cedis.
1,700. So you have an additional 2,000 cedis that has been added to the cost of
Yes.
producing maize.
Yes.
1 acre maize.
Yes.
Farm.
Yes. So for me to remain in business means I have to save that cost to the consumer. And the consumer could be the poultry farmer as he's complaining, or ordinary person like you who go in to buy maize for your banku, your cocoa, or whatever.
Or the kinky.
Now, we need to understand the farmer, because I hear people always say farmers are increasing maize prices and what have you. I mean, we need to remain in business. So for us to be able to do that, the only unit that will be able to reduce or absorb the cost for us to be able to sell it at a moderate cost to the consumer is the government, by trying to subsidize the input costs.
You mean fertilizer?
By fertilizer, agrochemical, tractor, or what have you.
But the subsidies have been reduced this year. For this
it has been reduced drastically, and I'm not too sure whether most of the companies are even ready to do, because they tell me that they are in business. You supply your product for more than 2 years. CD is depreciating. Exchange rate is very bad. And the money is locked there, and banks are also charging interest. So who would like to do business with an institution that they will lock your money for 2 years, they won't pay you with interest, and yet you have to go in and buy the same product? So most of the company, over 80%, are not ready to do subsidy this year. So I think that...
So you mean most of the fertilizer supplying companies are not ready to supply fertilizer under the Planting for Food and Jobs program?
Yes. You are
so
right.
there are over 1.5 million farmers on the Planting for Food and Jobs program would have challenges with access to fertilizer.
They will have challenges, especially the smallholder farmers. Just like I said, if you take 1 acre, you need a minimum of 3 bags of fertilizer. A bag of NPK in the market today go for 400 Ghana cedis. So fertilizer alone, 1,200 Ghana cedis. If you take 3 bags, you add urea, which is 450 Ghana cedis. You are hitting 1,700 for only fertilizer. Agrochemicals in 2021, averagely, we were buying it around 1720 Ghana cedis. Today it's going for 55 and 60 Ghana cedis. Total services, that was going between 130 Ghana cedis to 150. Most places, operators are charging between 200 and 250 Ghana cedis. And you are not even getting the tractors, you know. So,
and the tractors are powered by fuel.
Are powered by fuel.
If the prices of petroleum products goes up in the next pricing window, which is 2 days away, it would impact on your cost of production as well.
So it means tractor services is likely to even increase higher than the current prices. So if you put all these factors together, I just want the public to understand that farmers are not being greedy like people are putting that we are taking advantage to increase our prices and what have you. We need to remain in business. You know, there was a documentary by Joy News of farmers selling soybeans around Chirponi to the neighboring Togo.
Yes.
And everybody, I mean, we're just criticizing the farmers, others classify them as criminals, illegal.
Because there's a ban on the export of
simple.
Some cereals.
You see,
and you are the president of the peasant farmers. So if there's a ban, and now we discover that farmers are actually still defying the ban on the export of these cereals because we want to be able to retain, to feed the Ghanaian people who are subsidizing the fertilizer that you use to grow, you know, these cereals. Why do you say that it's wrong?
Alfred, you see, I was part of the committee that took the decision on the ban. We were consulted.
Okay.
I perfectly agree that we need to actually retain our food to supply our industries and our people. In Chirponi, the farmers there are our members. For the past 3 weeks, they were looking for buyers to buy these soybeans so that they can go to the next season. No buyer is willing to go.
No buyer.
I had maize there. I contacted transport operator. They said the roads are so bad, they will not go in there. What do you expect the farmers to do? But there are buyers from Togo who are willing to go there and buy. So you tell the farmer that you keep your product, don't buy it. I mean, don't sell it and wait for Ghanaian buyers to come and buy. I mean, if you were the farmer, what would you do?
Because your products may go bad.
Yes, because if it's not going by, you need the money to start a new season.
I see. So with where you sit, will the prices of foodstuff go down anytime soon?
Yeah, so just like I said, from now until the end of July, I'm not seeing prices going down. Because, you see, we will start releasing, especially maize. We start releasing new maize on the market by the end of August. We have fresh maize, but maize that we back, that we can use for poultry feed and other things, will be available in the market by the end of July to September. So from now until August, we don't expect to see drastic reduction in prices. And even during the bumper harvest this year, I'm not seeing price going down too much because we are going to price our maize based on cost of production. So,
wow, the picture doesn't look too good. Dr. Charles Nyaba he heads the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. We will be back shortly after this quick break. This is your most authoritative business analysis program. We're focusing on food in your kitchen, in your home now, the prices of food on the market here on Business Focus. We will be back shortly after this quick break. We'll round up the conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back to Business Focus on TV3. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. It's a most authoritative business analysis program. And Dr. Charles Nyaba heads the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. You earlier heard the national chair of the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana indicating they need divine intervention to be able to save the dying or collapsing poultry industry, primarily as a result of the increasing cost of feed, maize, wheat, soybean going up by between 200 to 350% over the last 1 year. Maize has gone up the 50 kg bag of maize from 65 cedis to 180 cedis. That's been confirmed by Dr. Charles Nyaba. Also, you had the president of the AFDB at the just ended annual meetings held here in Accra that 30 million metric tons of wheat and maize will not be coming to, or is not coming to Africa, including Ghana, because of the Russia-Ukraine war. And they voted some $1.5 billion to help solve the problem. Dr. Charles Nyaba, who's with us in the studio, says it's not enough. And they don't even know how the money is going to be disbursed to the various countries on the continent. Dr. Nyaba, we had our own homegrown intervention, right, to solve this. I mean, what's the state of affairs with the planting for food and jobs? Because I would assume that if it was that effective, we shouldn't be worrying about 30 million metric tons of maize or wheat or soybean not coming from Russia or Ukraine because of the war. You're on the ground. What's the situation with this planting for food and jobs program? Yeah,
so if you look at the main pillars of planting for food and jobs, it was 5. Fertilizer pillar, the seed pillar, e-extension, marketing, and then e-agriculture. Now, if you look at all these 5 pillars, fertilizer alone was consuming about 80% of the budget.
80%?
80% of the
entire budget of planting for food and jobs? Yes, of the
planting for food and jobs. That's because so much money went into fertilizer subsidy. So if you look at 2017, 2018, when government was releasing money to subsidize fertilizer, farmers were doing well. And then it reflected on food availability on the market. Now, you can't come out with a policy with an objective to achieve something. And at the end of the day, you are not putting in money. Because policy alone without investment will lead to nothing. And that is what we are experiencing. Because the planting for food and jobs, if you look at the intent, it's fantastic. But if you staff the project with excuses of budget constraints, I mean, we'll see what we are seeing. So to me, my advice to the government is that the intent of the planting for food and jobs is to ensure that farmers are able to produce, increase their income, supply food to the industry, and then create more jobs. And then you cannot only do that by policy without putting in money. So now that we are not putting in money in planting for food and jobs, we are not likely to achieve the objectives for which it was established. And that is what we are seeing in the market.
I see, and this could have been the best answer to this looming food shortage that we are confronted with.
Yeah, so to me, I think this is a time for all the actors, those who are in charge in the planting for food and jobs, to come together and rethink and see where we went wrong and then try to make some revisions. Now, recently we heard the minister proposing organic fertilizer as alternative to the fertilizer shortage. That's fantastic. But the concern we are having is that farmers are not yet used the organic fertilizer. It will take time. So we all need to actually add our voice. If you want to actually sustain planting for food and jobs, you cannot just talk of planting for food and jobs without putting budget. We need to release money to ensure that the things that we want the farmers to do, they are able to do. Without that, I'm not actually seeing planting for food going far.
I see.
And I just hope that Ministry of Finance will be listening, because if you look at last year, we did a lot of calls for Ministry of Finance to release money, which never happened. This year, the same thing. So if maybe the interest is no more to sustain planting for food and jobs, we farmers need to know so that we can also take our stance on what to do.
I interacted with a fruit processing as entrepreneur. He also tells me about this situation with the impact of the shortage of fertilizer impacting the farmers who grow fruits, not just maize.
Yeah.
Okay, so Christian Banson is a fruit processing entrepreneur, and he also gave me this indication of what's happening there. So it's not just limited to the maize as well. And you want an intervention from the finance ministry to ensure that there's money to run this program.
Yeah.
That's what the situation is. Dr. Charles Nyaba, thank you so much for your time this evening. Really appreciate it. Dr. Charles Nyaba is the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. A number of things that he's talked about, and our focus this evening was on the looming food shortage that was heavy on the agenda of the Africa Development Bank at the just ended annual meetings held here in Accra. As we've known now, 1.5 billion has been voted to address this problem. As to how effective that is, the people on the ground have been sharing their thoughts about what the way forward should look like. And also, you have the situation on the ground with the poultry farmers as well, who are dealing with what they call a possible divine intervention to save the industry. And Dr. Charles Nabash talked about how the cost of production is also impacting on their business. Prices of petroleum products may go up in the first pricing window in the month of June, and that's according to analysts. You have a lot more of that on 3news.com. It's something we're keeping a close eye of. But thank you so much for staying with us here on Business Focus on TV3. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okanse. Good evening.